Hello and welcome back to Visit Fylde Coast. I'm on Blackpool seafront, as you can see. This is the beautiful Blackpool Tower at the back of me. If you can hear a knocking noise, it's workmen at the top of the tower underneath a piece of green netting, and I think they're replacing the tower pieces. Looks like it might be going on for some time. Anyway, I thought today we might just have a nice little chat. And I would give you a little bit of the history of how did I get here? How did I get here? Not the obvious way, How did I end up here? How did I end up in Blackpool, of all places? Well, if you carry on watching and you subscribe and you hit that bell and do all that stuff, I'll tell you the answer to that. So, where did it all begin? Well, I suppose really it all began right down there at Blackpool South, at what is now a car park opposite South Pier. And friends of my parents had some holiday flats down there, and we used to come every year for about 3 weeks, and they used to give us it cheap, so we came and enjoyed our summers. And this is when I'm growing up, so I kind of did my seaside summers and my seaside growing up in Blackpool, so I've always loved Blackpool. And when I come back to Blackpool, like today, it makes me feel like I'm one of these little kids down here that are playing on the seafront and on the beach. And it just gives you that sort of, if I stand up a little bit, it gives you that fizz in your stomach down here. And that sort of, it's just nice, it's exciting, it's lively. And it makes you feel, even if you're having a really, really rubbish day, it makes you feel better. That's what I like about Blackpool. Even when it's cold and grey and raining and horrible, it still makes you feel better. Anyway, fast forward many years. So I've had various jobs, I've done various things, I've gone through school, I've thought about going to university and didn't bother. I've ended up having one job that I stopped in for 6 months. Yes, really. And then another one that I stopped in for about 6 years, and then I ended up leaving work. I literally walked out one Friday afternoon. And I started a business with my dad. And that was kind of what it was for some time, and we carried on coming to Blackpool on holiday, and we carried on coming to Blackpool at the weekend, so we used to come for the day ever such a lot. We lived bang in the middle of Britain, so you could technically get to the east coast or to the west coast in the same distance. But from the middle of the country, the east coast is all A roads and a really slow schlep. It's a really tedious journey. And the west coast is all motorway, so you could get over here much quicker. Plus, of course, you get all the fabulous sunsets and the west coast evenings and all those beautiful orange skies, which is much nicer. And it's very flat as well. It's very flat, so there's no cliffs to schlep up and down. Sorry about that, the phone rang and it put me off my stride, and I think I just got to the point where we were going either to the east coast or the west coast, and it was just as far. So one day my dad said, shall we go and have a look at Cleveleys? So we went, have we got to? And off we went. Now, I don't know if you've heard me mention this before, but there is a main sewer that runs all the way down the seafront, and it runs under the road all the way down here. It's massive, right down to Fleetwood, where the wastewater treatment works is. And at the time, they were actually putting that sewer in. I'm going back, I bet it's thick end of 30 years. We went all the way around all the back roads, avoiding this roadworks where they were doing the sewer, thinking, where on earth is he taking us? Because we went through all these housing estates and streets and, residential properties, and we're like, what? So eventually we ended up coming out at the seafront at Cleveleys. So we'd found the water, and I thought, it's quiet here, it's very quiet. You see, I like life. I like this kind of thing. You see, I would like a property. In fact, you know that I've told you that they're making these into flats. For me, one of them would be perfect. I could sit all day with my feet up, cup of tea in one hand, notebook in the other to write things down. And I could sit up there all day, just people watching. I love people watching. So for me, Cleveleys were just a little bit too quiet. But anyway, we carried on coming and we got to know the town. And we went loads of times, and we used to go and shop in the daytime and have a walk round. Then we used to go and park down on Russell Promenade and eat some sandwiches or whatever we'd got for tea. And then we used to drive all the way back to the other end of Blackpool to go to the pleasure beach in the days when you could walk round and you didn't have to pay to go in. So we had a lovely, full, packed day out. And this went on for years and years and years. And then eventually I said, shall we look in the estate agents at the end of Cleveleys High Street? That was famous, that. We were coming down the M55, got onto Yeadon Way, and I said, shall we go and have a look in that estate agents down the end of the High Street? Why? Why? Well, I wonder how much properties are. I wonder if there's anything that's cheap enough for us to buy between the four of us that we could use for a holiday home. So off we went. Now then, which one did we get ours through? I can't remember. Do you know, I can't remember. Alex. It was Alex, and I don't think they even exist now. We went into Alex, we went to have a look, and they said, oh, we've got this bungalow which would be perfect for you. It's not got a bathroom, and it's not got a toilet, and it's not got a kitchen. But you could do it up. It's a doer-upper. So I'm thinking, there is no way on this earth that my mum is going to fall for that. There's no way she's gonna go for that one. So we took the leaflet and went and sat in the car on the seafront. And we went in one space where we normally parked and decided that we might get the car bumped, so we went further up, right to the end, where we never went. And we got talking to this guy because he looked at the dog and thought the dog was cute, so the dog sort of started the conversation. And we got talking to this guy who we said, we've just been to look at this property and we've done this and we've done that, and what do you think? And he'd moved here from Rotherham, which is just down the road from where we lived. So we got chatting, and in the space of about half an hour got to be quite friendly with him. So this bloke took it upon himself to make sure that we ended up buying a property in Cleveleys. Very bizarre. I still to this day, I mean, it was 1999 this, and we're now in 2025, so that's 25 and a bit years. It'll be 26 years this August. I still to this day think that guy had been sent from up there to find us. Because we are a nightmare. We can't have a cup of tea or a meal without we've had a committee meeting and a full discussion and pros and cons, and you know, us deciding anything is just, it's just a nightmare. So this guy kept sending us leaflets and pictures. This is all coming through the post, this is not email. He kept sending us leaflets from estate agents and pictures of houses he'd found and newspaper cuttings and all this kind of stuff about properties that were for sale in this area. So it kind of kept it rumbling. You know how you go back home and you know you sit here and you think, oh, wouldn't it be nice if? And then you go back home and you get back into your normal life and it just disappears. It just disappears. So this chap, Michael they called him, it just kept it rumbling, it just kept it moving when we'd gone back home and slipped back into our normal life. So we came back and we had another look. We got the estate agent to do a viewing. We looked at other properties that were for sale. We looked at quite a few other properties actually in different places. I'm glad we didn't buy any of them. And then eventually we ended up putting an offer in. Which is quite a massive thing actually. It's quite a massive thing. So me and Kevin and my mum and dad bought it 50-50 between us. So in August we made an offer, and in November, just about in time for Kevin's bonfire night birthday, we ended up getting the keys, and the rest is history. So that's how I ended up here. And I still, all these years later, I still look around and I think, did that really happen? It's really strange. I still dream about where we used to live, and sort of the back garden and packing up to move, and whether or not we're going to move, because for a long time we used it as a holiday home, because we'd got a business, we'd got my grandma who needed a lot of care and attention, and lots of commitments and things that just stopped us from moving here permanently. And like I said, you know, if it had been a case of buy this, sell that and move, there is absolutely no way on this earth that it would have happened. It just would not have happened, because we're just not like that. We don't do risky, impulsive things. Everything's got to be carefully thought out and planned. So the stars were definitely pointing in the right direction that day, and then we ended up living here. And today it's, what time is it? Let's see. It's 2:30 as I'm filming this, and it's a beautiful afternoon. I'm standing on the seafront talking to myself, and the place is full of people enjoying their Easter holidays, and I'm going home to Cleveleys, and it's such a nice feeling, such a nice feeling. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. Lucky, aren't I? Very lucky. Lots of hard work, I have to say. And the money to pay for a property and to make the move didn't just fall into my lap. I've flogged for it, I must say. I've never been handed anything on the plate. But a little sprinkling of luck, and that guardian angel who came and found us that day and helped us to move. So there you go. It might just happen to you as well. If you've enjoyed my little story, make sure that you've subscribed, make sure that you've hit the bell for notifications, and I'll be back, as the great man said. I'll be back.